Well, we are going to our next step. Next panel is Millennials and Generation Z, understanding and engaging the next generation. This new generation is interactive, they are interactive consumers who don't follow and create trends. How can brands engage with this Millennial and Generation Z? What matters most to this new generation? With more channels than ever, connected consumers than ever before, we explore how technology changes how we discover, experiment, and access fashion, how they want, where they want, and when they want. Please welcome moderator Alicia Parro from Glamour and David Moreno, Luis Sanz, Sofía de Betac, and Berta Bernat.
Okay. Hello, everybody. We have here the company of 4 extraordinary people, extraordinary entrepreneurs and professionals that they are going to share with us their opinions about this challenging topic. David Moreno is the co-founder of Hawkers, the next generation sunglasses, the brand that has sold more than 1.5 million sunglasses in only 3 years.
Actually, it's 4 million.
Okay,
But yeah,
fantastic.
At one point, it was 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hawkers describes themselves as experts in selling combining a calculated strategy that combines price, online ads, communication, and they are very intelligent using social media. Recently, they have sold 20% of the company to 20 and Betancourt Group for more or less $50 million, I think.
It was, we didn't actually say if it was 20% or anything because we have an NDA, but yeah, the media said it was 20%, so let's keep it like that.
I'm very happy to congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Because of that.
Thank you very much.
And of course, they know a lot about millennials. Millennials are their customers, their clients. They talk to millennials every day. We also have here Luis Sanz. Luis Sanz is the co-founder of Olapic. Olapic is a technological platform that filters tons of user pictures every day to create content to the brands which they work, more than 400 companies in the world. They generated special content as a value asset of a brand which they work. And also, they have sold the company to Monotype. Monotype is a giant company, specialist on typography. But we have the luck that they are going to continue to working for that company.
Yep.
Millennials are in the core of their business.
Yep.
We also have Sofía de Betac. Sofía de Betac is a fashion consultant, art director. She is ambassador of many brands, fashion brands as Chanel, Valentino, and she has worked as fashion consultant for many top quality brands, as Estée Lauder, Michael Kors, Just Cavalli. She also has recently launched an e-shop called Under Our Sky, where she shares their inspirational collections about her trips, and she also works with artisans. She is going, of course, to talk about millennials because she is a millennial. She talks to millennials, and she works frequently with quality brands. Finally, we have Berta Bernat.
Hello.
Berta Bernat is one of the most influential bloggers and Instagrammers here in Spain. He's ambassador of Estée Lauder also, and he is a sample on how you can start with a blog and introduce digital strategies to connect people, to connect your blog with quality brands as Estée Lauder. So if you want to say something more about yourself, or we can start with the questions.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay. For David.
Well, I was not that okay.
No? David, could you tell me which are the most important reasons of your success working with millennials?
All right. I would say that this approach that you're saying is more from the media, again, and not from us, because we don't really think who we're targeting to. and we don't really make a difference. It's data, which is going to tell us what's working, and if it's working, we put more money on that, and if it's not working, we just leave it.
So you change your products in depends the data you receive.
We show so many ads, so many different combination of pictures and text, and everything that you can change is changed. And then maybe you just see one, but the rest of the people is seeing many different ads. So that's not our approach. People think that we're a millennial brand, and it's not true.
It's not true. Okay.
No. We're a data brand.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I have a question now for Sofia. I want to know her opinion about how luxury brands are working with millennials. I was talking to her this morning about the last Dior with the new designer, Maria Gracia Churi. That is the first woman in that house. And because Maria Gracia show a focus on feminism, I wonder if this kind of value as feminism, as a message, big message to connect with that people, with young people, is the way that she thinks that a luxury brand, has to connect with millennials.
More than feminism, I think what she did very smartly is to approach to a customer that isn't looking for a style. Like her customer is not going to be wearing Dior. She's not going to be the Dior girl. She's going to buy Dior. She's going to buy a piece and make it her own, style it, mix it. I think that the younger generations now, because of all these huge exposure to social media, to a million cultures, tons of people around the world, they are not just getting one vision of fashion, like before it used to be just magazines or trips, for the people who had the chance of traveling. Now they can get style from all over the world, from billions of different people, and they are not limited to one style. I read that the researchers are having a hard time defining how these Generation Z are dressing. That's because they're themselves. They're not dressing anyone else's style. They're doing their own, whatever they feel like. And I think that's what Maria Gracia did well. There's many pieces in that collection that you can choose. You can choose from. You can buy them and mix them with your own everyday clothes. Whereas before it used to be a Dior silhouette or a Dior kind of aesthetic, and that applies to every brand. I think they're all migrating to a more open, broader spectrum of pieces that represent many different people in their core.
Okay, this is what you said is true, and I think it's right. And I think that's the millennials now are people that are more sophisticated in the way they choose the things they buy. They are not follow only normal ads or normal retailers. They are looking for specific things that connect with them, with their personality. It's true.
Exactly.
Berta, what do you think about this? Do you work with millennials every day, with your blog, with your Instagram?
Yeah.
How you connect with them? How can you offer interesting things every day?
I think from a brand perspective, the most important thing is knowing that the things change so fast, and you need to be adapting quickly because, from one year to another, people are doing a lot of similar things, so you need to bring value and try to do things differently and also adapting to the new generations. And millennials, actually, it's a generation I'm not a millennial either.
No.
It's even younger. So it's people that have been born in the 1995. So it's really the next generation. And even for me, it's a challenge to think of like a young boy of 18 years old or a girl, like how she uses cosmetic and try to bring the cosmetic to the people lifestyle and, like to their day-to-day, which is the biggest challenge from a brand perspective, I think.
Okay. Luis, you work with a lot of users' pictures to offer creative content to many brands. Do you think that people want to share their experience because they feel better if they are involved in a community?
That's a big part of that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the way you communicate with kind of brands are mostly trying to be authentic, and kind of that's the way we talk to our friends. Kind of you think of how you use Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and you're sharing pictures with your friends, and that's the way you're talking to them, even WhatsApp and things like that. So kind of when, as a brand, you're trying to do the same thing and engage with the same audience, it's kind of natural that you do it using the same channels. That's kind of the main reason why people keep engaging there. And if you're doing a good job as a brand and you're engaging in an authentic way, that's the way you get people to share content with you.
And which will be the next step in the community of users? Of what can they do now?
I would say that she's totally on point, that kind of things keep changing very quickly, and everything that has to do with technology changes really, really quickly, and people, particularly the younger generation, adapt really, really quickly to whatever is new. And kind of the new thing right now is video. Kind of there was a limitation in terms of the technology, kind of data connections weren't that good. Kind of creating good video is something not that easy. But if you think about that, kind of Facebook, Instagram were all about pictures, and now you have Instagram stories, Snapchat stories. Facebook is pushing live video out there all the time. Twitter is doing the same thing. So kind of because now the technology is there to support that, kind of video is where everyone is going and where most of the most successful brands are going to. So.
Okay, you help brands to communicate better and to, of course, earn money to get better profit. But do you think now, all of you, that companies are prepared to this situation, to respond so quickly to the demand of the users? Because you said is your users change their opinions about one sunglasses, you have to change your design and your products.
So I agree with her, to be honest, and that's what we need to be. We are not ready, and we will never be, and that's good. So that means the world is evolving, and that's a good thing. For a long time, they have been asking what's our formula. And we say that we could give it away and say that it could be just one picture, one still picture, and it's a picture from the past. So in the very moment that you're reading about it in a blog or wherever,
It's past.
Yeah, it's past.
Okay. What can I say about the values of this generation? Because now we are talking about what they buy, what they like, what pictures they want to share. But I think that behind these numbers, its figures, it has to be values. And I would like to understand which values they have. What do you tell me about it? Sophia?
Well, I believe they are more inclined to analyzing what they are really passionate about. They're not just going out there and consuming everything there is, because there's way too much. Then also there's the factor of the see now, buy now that the industry is facing. I was talking to a friend who had an earlier talk here, Caroline, and we were debating that it's good sometimes that you don't have things available right away, and that makes the quality of the product better, and also you have the people that design it have a better process of developing interesting products. They have a better life, hopefully, because luxury is not just wearing, whatever you can find a luxury brand. It's about what it comes with, if it's good quality, if it lasts long, if it's soft, if it's well treated, if everyone in the process were well treated. It's not luxurious if it was made in a poor factory where people are not being, humanly treated. So I think it comes with the consciousness. It comes with a global awareness of information, of privacy, of informed people, knowledge.
Okay, David?
Our main value is to be authentic. That's what we think, and that means as a brand, you can allow yourself to change every day and change in a really huge way. I mean, we have changed our logo lots of times, and I've read all the brand rules, and they say you should never do that. There's so many things they say you should never do, and brands should be more liquid and should be able to adapt to every stage, every scenario they're in. And I think it's going to take a bit for them to be aware of that reality, because nowadays I don't see brands as ours, which doesn't take the brand very seriously. I mean, and that doesn't mean we're not we don't like business. That doesn't mean we don't like to sell or to be a good brand. That means we are aware of the future, the present, or what's happening in the world.
Okay, Javier, what is your opinion about that? You can see a lot of pictures every day. What can you feel it when you see that pictures?
What he was saying, kind of all the really successful brands that we have working with us share that they are authentic. Kind of in this day and age, it's super easy for everyone to get access to a lot of reviews. You can see how other people are doing things. So your brand is no longer what you think it is what your customers think it is. So you better be true to that and work accordingly to that. So being authentic is the best way to make both things work together.
Okay. What is if you use your webs or your blog or your Instagram to talk about sustainability or to conscious feeling about the world, have you ever experimented something around these subjects?
For me, I haven't experienced it yet. To be honest, I think it's a very tough theme. So I think it's very important to speak honestly. You know, like us as influencers, or when you have an audience, you need to be conscious about what you speak. And one of my strongest values from when I started has been always been very loyal to myself, to my values, to my, to my situation. And from your answer before, that I think is very, very important. The values thing, I think from a brand perspective, we won a lot of space, and obviously you have a much better interaction with brands. And they had to do an amazing job because they need to be strict on their content, on what they're giving. But from a personal perspective, I think the human being, it's really not controlling what we're going to. And I think it's very, we should be very careful with it, because it's changing the way people relate to each other. And I think in that sense, it's what scares me for the next generation. More than the brands, which is obviously, I think, a good platform to communicate.
Okay, thank you. One more question. How do you think, David, about influencers and about the use of very known people to promote a brand? You have worked in the beginnings, I think, with Jorge Lorenzo, now with Pablo Echevarria. How do you work with them, and how much are they important to your brand? You can work without them, or what do you think?
We used to be partners with Lorenzo. No le voy a cambiar el nombre ahora. ¿Entienden también español? And we were partners with him, and one of the main issues was that he thought that everything was happening because of him wearing the sunglasses, and we said, hey, it's not personal. We don't want to disappoint you, but look, we've tried in many countries in which you're not famous or you're not that famous. We've tried with different models which are not influencers or celebrities or anything, and it works. So yeah, it helps, it can help. But it's a combination of things, and it doesn't work by itself. And so many small brands that are starting now are being wrong about that. They're spending lots of money in paying influencers, and if it's one day work, one post, and he says, hey, look what I'm wearing, it's not working at all. It doesn't matter if it's Beyonce or whoever. So it has to be, when we talk to them, we say it has to be a win-win.
Okay.
We're not here and here anymore. We're all here. So it's the word you said, it's loyalty. Yeah. It's not royalty anymore. So there's no kings anymore.
And in that sense, I think it's also also like the long-term relationships between an influencer and a brand. I think that's the future for what is coming, because before there were no rules. This game started like 5 years ago, and we have been players of it. And like now it's much more established. Now what's a fee, like like the average of a fee. But I think in the future, brands will pick their influencers, and it will be just more hand-to-hand work, because it's a creative work. So it needs to be, done by both sides. It's not that the brand gives you the glasses and then they forget. So it's just like a common work, and I think that's why it's very important to have a very close relationship and real.
Yeah, it's a creative partnership. You need to share something, you need to believe in the same things and be aligned, not just, oh, you look good in the sunglasses, you can have them. Right. And also the influencer who wears them needs to at least have wanted to buy that product, full price, no discount. If you would have spent your money on that, then yeah, maybe you're a suitable influencer for that brand, and not just an arbitrary marriage.
What about price? You are focused on low price sunglasses?
We don't call it low price. We call it
democratic price.
Yeah, well, we call it fair price until it's not fair, because we're improving so much that there will come a point when it's not gonna be fair anymore. It's gonna be too cheap.
For me, the question is that if millennials are more fond of democratic or fair price than luxury price. What do you think?
Depends on how wealthy you are, no?
It depends what you find value in, what you see value in. Some people find it in things that are very discreet and very good quality. Others find value in things that show, the price.
I would say the concept of luxury, for me, for instance, it's not price anymore. No. I mean, it can be, you have something that no one else wearing, or it's not what you have, it's more what it says about you. And if it says you're updated and you're trendy, and it doesn't matter if it's luxury or not, that's luxury.
Yeah, that's why I started doing these collaborations with artisans all over the world, because when I find something that I really love, let's say a painting, and I would love to take it home, but maybe not to put on my wall. I would love to wear it. So I create these capsule collections with different people that inspire me, that when I go around the world and I wear it, people get crazy about them, because that is different, that is personal, that says I travel, that says I find quality or taste or creativity in small little things, either it's a gypsy market or a high street shop. So that, we're running out of time. That's what we find luxury in, and also the younger generations, they're better trained to see this, whereas I think the prior one was just buying the full package. Now they go into the factories. Now there's these platforms and brands that are doing full transparency, and if the price goes down of, let's say, the cashmere, they put their price down, and that kind of openness you wouldn't get before, and now you can see how much all the goods, the manufacturing goods are worth, and how much you want to pay for them. And half obviously goes to advertising, to all these marketing techniques that you lose the actual value of the product. It just gets lost. Most of the times it becomes 5 times the price than it actually is. And when you go straight to the source, then you can really understand how much it's worth. You can see the person doing it. You see how much time of that person it actually takes to create that piece. And you really appreciate the value of it and the quality of it.
To put in the front the value of the quality of the products is also an exercise, very difficult exercise, and I think for many brands. This is the more important thing for brands now, to put the quality or to put the value of what they are in front of the customers.
Yeah.
Luis is not talking very much.
What do you think?
I can answer.
I have a question for you also.
I can answer that one. Yeah, I think it's important mostly because usually you can. That's the way you know that people are going to be repeating and are going to be loyal to you. Kind of at the end of the day, you cannot fake it anymore. So if the value is not in the right place, maybe it will work for a campaign or two or a season, but after that, it's gone.
Can you find many difference between millennials depends of the country they are? Because you filter some of pictures from Europe, States.
Yeah, I mean,
how they are?
You can see differences, but it's more like not necessarily about millennials, and kind of I think that something that technology has done is they have made like everyone much closer. So if you think about the way people in Spain think about fashion, or people in Spain or versus people in the US or in South America, is not that far away. There are like kind of local trends and things like that, but or you think the way they think about fairness or fair trade or things like that, it's very close everywhere. So you can find differences, but it's mostly minor. At the end of the day, we are all global, whether we like it or not. So.
Okay. What do you think about creativity when all the consumers' behavior are tracking? Because if you choose the way you design your sunglasses, or the color of Maria Gracia decided to change the shape of the trousers because many people in China decided not to buy it, what the space are for creativity? I can imagine a world many years ago, and I said there will be creativity with so many technological that gives you so many information.
I think the barrier, I don't know if that's the word, is in production. I mean, maybe you are very creative, but in our case, we sell a lot. And we are only 2.5 years old, and in the first almost 2 years, we brought everything by plane because we sold so fast that, by plane, which is more expensive because we didn't have time to wait for the ships to come. And so our limits are today our production. We have a lot of creativity, but we cannot afford to do that now. We are planning to do it very soon, but yeah.
Sophia?
I kept thinking of, as I said, that the younger generation strive for individuality. I also feel that the world is just becoming more of the same. I just went to Africa this year and 10 years ago as well for a month. And back in the day, education wasn't so homogenized. And now I feel like even in the middle of the wilderness, all the kids, just because the government makes them have this proper education that it's like mostly same worldwide, they all just want to be lawyers or pilots or doctors, when they actually should better learn how to survive in the, if a lion shows up. And none of them wanted to be, let's say, a Maasai warrior, when all, the grown-ups surrounding them, that's what they grew up being. I mean, they don't have the same world around them, but this system makes them believe that if they become a lawyer or they keep studying, they can go to the city and have an office job, which supposedly is better than, drinking water from a creek and defending yourself from a lion with a stick. It's about finding what you actually think is good, and the people who are in power should also have some consciousness on how to approach education for different parts of the world and for different type of people, because it's not the same education that you should give to someone in a city than to someone in the countryside. But we all apparently have all these standardized education systems that we all need to learn about world history and math and geography, when maybe some people should be much more focused on what is around them, and obviously give them tools if they want to change their lifestyle, but not make them believe that the Western world is better than what they have around them.
Luis, I have a question for you. You work with picture users.
Yep.
No, users pictures. But you can offer some experience to users from the brands you work with?
Yeah, we
with kind of experiences, or what kind of things or strategies you suggest to your brands to do with users?
I mean, at the end of the day, everything that we think that it will be in line with what we're trying to achieve, that is kind of conveying that authentic communication between the brand and the user. Kind of actually going back to the creativity question, the way we think about that is like, because the tools are improving, kind of, it's actually giving more capacity to creative people to kind of distribute their work. So we have a lot of brands that come to us with crazy ideas that were just impossible to accomplish 5 years ago, and now you can actually do those things, and the technology is no longer a barrier, and kind of as the world improves, kind of ideally all the mechanical limitations of all those things are going to disappear, and kind of creativity should actually increase. It's just a matter of, you know, how much you want to push that versus not. So we'll do whatever the brands wants to do if we think that is online with what we're trying to do.
Okay. Could you add something more to this question?
I think related to the creativity topic, I think it's also like that what David was saying about the logistics. I think being creative is very important, but like also the strategy behind it's key. Like for people to have like a plan and know what you want. You know, it's like you can be an amazing artist, but there needs to be a plan, and that applies to a brand and also to people, I think.
Okay. I want to make a last question for all of you. Do you think that we are in the right way to connect with these millennials consumers and people that we have as brothers, sisters, or consumers?
Well, that we is very broad, so it depends who you're talking. If you're talking about, I don't know, the banks, they're farther than we are, for instance. But yeah, I think they're all realizing that they must do it. And well, I think it's going to take a bit, as I said before, to change this, because brands and not influencer or Instagrammers, because they're newborn, let's say, are 100 years old, and it's not going to happen like that. And sometimes what we are finding is that they are using brands like us to help them engage in a more natural way. So it's, I always talk about if grandpa goes to the high school and with his cap and saying, hey, how are you?
Something like that.
Something like that, then it's not going to look natural. But if you are friends with someone who is the cool guy and you can do a partnership with him, so it's going to look better and it's going to be more fluent.
Okay, thank you. Something more?
No, yes, that it needs to be a true and believable partnership and actual any exchange of creativity, not just a stamp.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.